Welcome to MTM Travel. We have a big show today. Mark's here, Joe's here. We're going to talk Orlando.
Lions are here.
Weird. I think that we are like the Orlando experts here, right? Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed, yeah. When does MTM Orlando? When's that YouTube channel gonna go? We got to make that one.
Yeah, we'll just have like a different city, a YouTube for each city, and top 50 cities in the country or something. But I would probably say I've been to Orlando the second most of anywhere in the U.S. Probably Vegas is definitely first. I think Orlando is probably second. We usually end up going once or twice a year, so we've been to a lot of the places, and it's kind of like family version of Vegas a bit, even if you don't go to the parks. I think that it has a lot to offer still.
Yeah, I think collectively we've been there dozens and dozens and dozens of times just in the last few years.
Thousands of hotel rooms.
Thousands of times. We've been to Orlando thousands of times, but we all go for different reasons. And we thought we'd talk about that. Coincidentally, Mark went to Orlando last week and I just went to Orlando this week. So we decided to just kind of combine it all into one show. Talk specifically because you went to a very unique property, the Conrad Orlando, which is part of the Evermore Resort. This is a great option for doing Disney World and stuff like that, and super unique. Can't wait for you guys to see that lagoon pool. Should we just start with the lagoon pool? I mean, that's really the coolest thing ever.
That's the showstopper. I'll start by saying, I almost jinxed myself, if you believe in that. Because on the last recording, Joe, I was like, I've never missed a flight. And then, we're flying to Orlando on Spirit. We get on the highway. On the way, it's like a 8:30 p.m. flight, so shouldn't be any traffic, whatever. We actually leave a little bit earlier than normal, which kind of saved us. But we get there, we're like 15 minutes away from the airport, 10 minutes away. All of a sudden, the whole highway stops. They shut it down. There was a bad accident like a half a mile further south on the highway, and moved everybody 3 lanes of traffic off on one exit, and we're just watching the estimated time of travel like tick up, tick up, tick up. We're supposed to get on the plane. I think boarding was supposed to stop at like 8:40. We got to the airport, parked at like 8:30, and just ran through everything. Couldn't get tickets on my phone. The app wouldn't let me log in. The email didn't have any barcodes. Couldn't print at the machine because it was too late. And I'm just like, go wait in line. There's a line of like 8 people because everybody else was stuck in traffic too. And finally, we had the tickets printed. They're like, oh, they haven't boarded yet. So we run through everything, sweating everywhere. We get there. They still hadn't even boarded the first zone yet.
That's pretty good. So there was this time, I may have talked about it before, but I usually, especially if I'm only going for like 2 days, I just park at the airport. But there was this one time that I got there and all of Central Parking, the main parking lot, which is just like, you just need to walk through a tunnel to get to the terminal. It was all full. So I got sent to overflow parking, and I show up 55 minutes before, but then getting to overflow parking was like a whole 15 minutes. So we ran and did all that. Opposite of you, Mark, we got to the gate and the door was closed, and then they were like, sorry. But then what happened was someone was non-revving, so like an employee of the airline, I think it was JetBlue, was non-revving, and he knew the pilot. So the pilot was like, oh, I'm gonna let this guy in, right? So the non-rev flight attendant who was getting somewhere, they let him in, and so of course they let us in too. So I offered to buy the guy a drink. He declined, but he was laughing because I was like, "Oh, thanks, dude. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you were going on this flight to make it work out. But otherwise, I would have missed the flight." So
yeah, so it's not a law that they can't open the door. They're just being
exactly. So much for those rules that they say that.
Maybe I shouldn't say what airline it was. Maybe.
Well, we all know all you do is fly JetBlue, so if it's in the U.S. But no, I was waiting for you to be like, oh, and then they had a mechanical issue and they had to deboard the plane, so we jumped on right then.
Oh, that would have been awful.
Pretty epic.
Mechanical, sir. I feel like having to deplane once everyone's on. I don't know much of a worse feeling that you can get at an airport. It's worse than just a standard delay, no matter how long the delay is. It's just you're like there already, and then no.
That happened to us on the Christmas markets. Like we were all on the plane, and then they just started saying stuff in German, and we're like, everybody just starts huffing and puffing. By the time they came on with English, we had no clue what they were saying. We just had to get off, and then 45 minutes later, they randomly announced, "All right, if you're on that flight, get back there." And only like half the plane made it back. It was crazy.
We all give advice to like get to the airport not ahead of time, all this stuff, and then you guys are telling your stories. And I had a story that I talked recently where when I did that Salt Lake City trip a couple weeks ago, where there was no parking and I had to like frantically try to find a spot and run to the gate as well. So I don't know that we're giving a tremendous amount of hope to people. But if I miss a flight and how many hours have I saved over my life by not getting to the airport 2 hours ahead of time? So if it happens that I screw up once, I still think I come out
It's
ahead.
totally happen next time. Now you're so screwed.
It's a good point, though. We've saved so much time by cutting it tight that if we lose once, it'll be okay. I hear that.
So back to Orlando. You got to Orlando and you stayed at the Hyatt Regency at the airport. And I think that's worth mentioning because all three of us have stayed at that property. It's right in the terminal. You can't get more convenient especially if you're arriving late or something like that, or have a really early flight. It's just right there. Decent hotel. Nothing super fancy or crazy. It's a Hyatt Regency, but I think we've all enjoyed our stays there.
Yeah, I really enjoy it there, especially if you're leaving early. We've stayed there before a flight, like the night before, and then we've done this because we got in at like midnight. So it was just nice to be able to walk up there, check in quickly, hit the bed. I had used the Suite Upgrade Award because I had one that I wasn't going to use before it expired. So we did that, and they gave us like this 1,000 square foot room or 1,200 square foot, or maybe even more. It had like a huge bank. I think it's like the one part is used for meetings and stuff because they had this tiny little kitchen area that had a big fridge and a little fridge and then a microwave and nothing else. So I think it's set up for like, getting catering delivered and putting it on the boardroom table and having meeting there. So we had a lot of space, 2 beds in the bedroom, and then this massive living room area. My son slept on the pull-out couch out there and thought he was like in his own little world, which was kind of cool. And I just like that you can go to a lot of the restaurants and everything. The food court is there, shopping. So you can do all of that too. If you like, you get the free breakfast as Globalist, which is okay. It's nothing great. But if you're there for like during the day, you have a lot of options. There's Chili's there, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, all that kind of stuff. You have the little knick-knack shops, the pool, watching planes take off and land, never very busy. You can get drinks delivered up there. It actually isn't a bad spot if you even want to make it like a home base.
Yeah, I really like that resort as well. I usually do it on the other end, Mark. I stay there on the way out. And that way, especially if you have like an early flight, it's just easier to wake the kids up and walk 15 minutes instead of taking a 30-minute car or whatever. But I've really enjoyed my stays at that hotel as well. I've never actually gotten down to the pool.
It's up to the pool. Not down. It's up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well,
he also called it a resort, so I don't know. I would call it a resort. But.
Yeah. What are you talking about? This is like so much shopping. There's so many beautiful places to walk. There's a Panda Express in the food court. Like, what else can you ask for?
2-hour-long security lines. Yeah, good stuff.
The worst. I will say, Orlando Airport's gotten better. They actually have they figured out what ropes are and lines. So they do it a bit. But do you remember like 5 years ago when you'd go there and it'd just be a mass of people and everybody trying to barrel their way in, almost like the old cattle call boarding on Southwest before they added the A1 through 15, A1 through 30 or whatever. So it was like that. It was just such chaos and so stupid. I'm like, they have so much space too. They have more space around their TSA than maybe anywhere else that they could make these really elaborate lines and make it not a big deal. But it's gotten better. It's still just crap.
I will say Clear makes a huge difference there compared to many other airports. I use Clear there, and even the TSA pre-check can get long. I was flying out of there yesterday. It was not busy at the airport. The regular line was an hour. The pre-check was about 25 minutes, and then Clear was just instantly through. I don't, most of the time pre-check is 5 minutes. I won't even use Clear. But yeah, this was, it was a lifesaver there yesterday. Didn't have to worry about it. And they have Clear, I think, at every single TSA checkpoint. So that's a big improvement. But let's talk about the Conrad, because I think we need to give some time to this property. I think we talked about it on the show with Mark Jackson when he stayed here. He did a YouTube video about it last year when it opened. He was there right around the opening. So it was very early on. Not everything was open. And you just went back there and experienced it. I'll let you describe this place because I haven't been there, but you know how much I'm in love with that pool or that lagoon.
Yeah, it feels like you're not in Florida or in Orlando, even more so. It feels like you're in the Bahamas. It really does. It's kind of crazy in that way. And a big knock on this place has been, and I think Mark Jackson ran into this a bit early on, was service. And I will say right off the bat, service was excellent everywhere we went. Every person I'm guessing that they got on people about this in the bad reviews, because the towel guy, the bartenders, The person building the sand cat, like everybody was super outgoing and would strike up a conversation with you, even if you didn't, want to. But they were all very nice and willing to help every step of the way. So I'll say service, at least for our weekend there, was great. The rooms, very very nice, really well done. Kind of gives me the vibes of the Hyatt in Baha Mar, but maybe even a little bit better done than that. We had a balcony facing the lagoon and the pool, which was really cool. But yeah, the lagoon, as soon as you walk in, that's what you see in the back. And it's like blue turquoise water that looks exactly like you're in the Caribbean. It's insane. You're not sure if it's going to be like sandy in it because there's a beach all around it. But it's just a big pool. It's concrete on the bottom, but it's always pristine. I don't know how they keep it that way. Not a lot of stuff floating in it or anything, but just crystal clear water. It looks crazy.
Important to me because of the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress. Like, they don't heat the pool. Is this pool heated? Is it nice? And did you say, is there like slide wise? My kids are really into slides, so
Yeah.
are there more than one?
So it's weird because the Conrad, like this is the Evermore's property, which I think is owned by Hilton. It's mostly like condos. People are paying like $2,000 a night to rent these condos and in houses and stuff. And each house has like their own little pool in the backyard and stuff. So it's very like hoity-toity type of area. And then Conrad like carved out this little section of it. So the cool thing is like Conrad has their own little beach that nobody else from Evermore can access. But you can access, as a Conrad guest, anything that Evermore has for public use. So that's cool. The big lagoon is not heated, but it wasn't overly cold. This was, mid-October. So I think in the winter months, it might not be a great pick for people that want to use it. I think that's when Mark Jackson was staying there. But in the summer, I think it'll be fine. And then the actual pool at Conrad is heated. It's a very nice pool, pretty spacious. A lot of it never gets too busy at either because there's so much room. But I would say it was, 5-6 degrees cooler in the lagoon than it was in the main pool. And that will probably get colder as the months go on. But working against Grand Cypress is there's so many trees and rocks and waterfalls and stuff that the sun doesn't really beat on that pool at all. And this is just wide open, unadulterated sunlight like all day. So I think it will be better than that most of the time.
People out there are saying that we're idiots talking about a cold pool. That pool at Grand Cypress is cold. It is frigid.
Cold.
It is bad. I mean, it really is bad. And the reason we're talking about Grand Cypress is because Evermore is technically inside the Grand Cypress project. There's a golf course there. So it's all in the same area, which is very close to Disney. I mean, this is about as close you can be to being on Disney property, at least on that side, the Disney Springs side. So this is probably a decent location for Disney World. Did they have shuttles or anything to the parks?
Yeah, I think they did have shuttles. I don't have a lot of info on that. I didn't, my parents were told they had shuttles, but I didn't ask, like, does it run multiple times a day? And to answer Joe's other question, there is a slide at Evermore that goes into a pool that's very heated. It's like a 4-person, almost like, those potato sack slides at fairs and stuff like that are multicolored. It's like that, but with water. So nothing like super exciting, but they did have that. And then they have like a rope swing off a cliff and fall into the lagoon. So that's another option that kids will enjoy. And then you could also grab a paddle board or a kayak is included. You just have to wait in line and you can do that. So like the swimming areas are roped off. That goes up to 8 feet deep. So you can get pretty deep at the edge of the swimming areas. Then the main center area is just for the boats and stuff. There's even like a wood Chris Craft boat that looks really beautiful. I don't know if they ever take it out, but it's kind of crazy that there's a boat in this pool. I wish you could swim across the whole thing, but I'm sure that's dangerous. And then they have these cabanas all around. A lot of them are Evermore. Conrad has a couple, but the Evermore ones have like those rope things that you see in like the Maldives and stuff that you can, it's like a rope hammock right over the water, just otherworldly. And you go to this one section that has a bar made out of like an old Volkswagen bus, and there's palm trees and sand. And I took a picture of it. It looks just like you're in the Bahamas. You can walk around. There's basically so many areas that have grass or sand and chairs, hammocks, everything that you can find a spot at any point for your entire family and have nobody within earshot of you, which is insane to say in this day and age at a resort.
So just the price wise, this is probably a very good use of a Hilton free night cert. But did you notice what the range of prices were points wise?
It starts around 80 or 90K and goes up a bit from there. So definitely a good use of a cert. 90K or above, you're getting double points essentially on that 15K spend on your cert pass. Or if you have the Aspire, it's a good use. I actually okay, so I was stressed about this because we have 4 cards between the business and the cert pass and all that. So we have those stupid credits we have to use every quarter. So I had booked 2 individual nights on certs, and I knew from our Hawaii trip that Hilton can't combine these and have you check out at once. They check you out each individual night, which is annoying. And we had all the bar charges and everything on the first night. The pool drinks range from $9 for a seltzer to like $11 for beer, and then it was like $15 to $22 for mixed drinks or frozen drinks. So it gets kind of pricey. So I had a couple $100 on there. So I went to the front desk early in the morning because I'm like, hey, I know you guys are going to check me out and charge the card I had, but I need to split this payment across 3 Hilton cards. And they did it. It was a whole thing. We've heard about issues with gift cards, so I didn't want to go the gift card route and bring gift cards and have them not work. So I did that, and they broke up the whole payment across the first one, and it was like $90 a day or $90 per card. And I said, just split it evenly. As long as it's over $60, I'm not worried about it. So we did that. That was fine. First night, check out. And then they, checked me back in essentially. And when I went to check out the second day, when we went to leave, I didn't really look at the bill because there was like $55 in charges on it. So I figured it'd just be like $5. Get out to my parents' car, taking us to the airport. I open up my email and I see that I got charged, $1,000. It was $1,050.
Youch.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, I gotta go back in because I know, it's easier to do this in person than call. So learn from us. Don't get to the airport with 20 minutes to spare. Don't leave without checking your bill. The one time you don't check your bill is the time it's a problem. So I went back in there. What they had done is they charged me the cash rate, even though it was a points night. I don't know why. Something was messed up. Maybe it was because it was back-to-back individual nights. But the cash rate was like $880, and then taxes and fees, resort fee, all that stuff brought it up to $1,050. They were able to credit it back. I ended up paying only $3 when it was all said and done because of my $50 property credit. So they worked it out. It wasn't a big deal. Everybody was, great about it. But that was kind of like, oh, crap. Like, I'm going to have to deal with this now. But they took care of it pretty quickly. So you're going to spend money on property if you eat and drink. But you don't really have to if you don't want to. There's a strip mall like a mile away that has a ton of restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds incredible. $900 a night, just another example of how in this hobby we're staying at places that are just well above what we would actually pay. I mean, it's crazy. $1,000 a night.
Yeah, yeah, and my parents are not the $1,000 a night hotel, so I'm like, and we're not either, but like they're less that. So I said, my parents are the cooler people. Like they bring a cooler everywhere, full of beer, drinks, snacks. Like they go to grocery shopping before, and they have all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, we're going into a $1,000 a night hotel, and my parents are bringing their blue Igloo cooler full of Miller Lite.
That's awesome.
They do it every time. I'm just like, whatever at this point. We did something similar at the Waldorf in Hawaii, and we left a little bit in the car, like a Truly's or whatever it be. And the guy's like, well, do you want to take those 2? I was like, oh, we're going to leave them for the next hotel because we're moving. And he's like, well, they're not going to drink themselves sitting in there. So he picked it up and put it on there. He was really cool. Come here to Conrad. The guy did not want to touch the case of beer. Like he just left it in the car and loaded everything else up on the rack. So I picked up the beer and put it on there. I don't know what the deal was, but I don't know if you're not supposed to bring it in or what. But he was like, whatever. And then when they got to the room, they got the stuff delivered. They're like, oh, it looks like you have some cocktails. You want me to get you some ice? So you can't get ice yourself at this resort, which is so bizarre. So when you ask for ice, they bring you like the little bag of ice that you get in your ice bucket. So my parents are like, no, we're going to need like 4 or 5 more of these.
Tailgating at the Conrad Lagoon. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did, had some drinks in the rooms where we watched the Michigan State football game in the room and drank them there and all that. And I will say, we did like the Miami Vices by the pool, $22, which is steep. But the floaters were only $3. That doesn't make sense to me. But just get a floater and all your drinks. It's the cheapest thing you can get there.
I always thought floater at the pool meant something else. So,
Shawn,
gross. I got a shake. I got a head shake from Joe. I love it.
Don't stoop to Mark's level. Come on.
Yeah.
So did you guys were the rooms fancy or just pretty normal or?
Yeah, it was a standard layout. We were in the 2 bedroom. You had a nice balcony. The beds were very nice. You know, all the finishes were nice. The closet, even when you open it, had like little scent beads hanging that smelled amazing. The bathroom had a private area for the toilet, then a walk-in shower, double sink. I think it was all kind of what you expect. Nothing like over the top, but still very nice. They have a rooftop Mexican restaurant bar that has beautiful views. You can see the fireworks at night. That's really cool. The lobby bar, probably we had the best bartender I've ever had in my life. His name was Ricardo. He was just amazing. Like one of those quick-witted ones that's always on top of things and just like quick with a joke and everything. Really good. The food sounded good there. We got like little snacks at the bar, which was all really good. But we didn't eat too much on property because the prices are a bit expensive. So we went to that strip mall I said. There was a soup dumpling place there that was amazing. We went to like this dive Irish pub. They have an hibachi grill there. So there's a lot of options within a mile or two that you can get to pretty quickly.
If we're all set with the hotel, I'm curious, what exactly do you do in Orlando since you don't go to the theme parks? Like,
Well, we went just for the so we had a lagoon to hang out in, Joe. Like that was the whole purpose. Literally, this trip was booked around this resort just to go to this resort.
it's like you said, the picture could have been like it was from the Bahamas, and you went there to have a Bahamas-like experience, but
Yeah.
just to stay
Fraction of the
local.
cost.
Or not
Yeah,
local, but domestic.
Yeah, you're not. We can get cheapest flights. Usually, the cheapest flights we can get are to Orlando most of the time. So we on the way down, I booked Spirit at the airport. Saved us. It was like $45 a person for that. And then on the way back, it was like Delta for 11,000 sky miles a person. So we were able to do really cheap trip down there. You know, hung out at the beach. Essentially, you're basically going like you would be going to the Caribbean or any of the coastal states, or you know. And the weather's usually really good. It was perfect weather, like high 70s in mid October or end of October. So it was excellent, like the perfect time of year to go. The pools were great, not too crowded, and we just relaxed for 2 days. And that's something we haven't done in a long time, where we just kind of hung out at the resort, didn't have anywhere to go, anything to do. It was a nice change of pace.
Find someone who loves you as much as Mark loves buying Spirit tickets at the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely part of the drinking game. Mark buying Spirit. I mean, he saves money, but I still haven't been able to get myself to go down there and do it.
Well, with your Frontier status, it'll be like $11 for a flight instead of the 29 or whatever.
Yeah. So, any other takeaways before we move on to Universal and some of the stuff I did?
No, I just say this is probably my favorite actual resort in the U.S. that I've been to, and that's across Hyatt, Hilton, IHG, Marriott, everything. And of course, that's a limited endorsement compared. You know, I haven't been to every resort in the country, but of the ones I've been to, this one really checks all the boxes for us. They even had a suntan machine. Like you go push a button, you stand and spin, and they spray you with suntan. Like it was just insane. Beautiful property. Well worth your free night cert. Definitely check it out. And I posted a review in Travel on Points Facebook group again, and just shared like my thoughts. And everybody was like, every comment was, "Oh my gosh, that place was amazing. I loved it. Can't wait to go back," type of thing. I'll say my favorite hotel is also a Hilton, but that was like the Oceana in Santa Monica, LXR hotel, like a more boutique experience, completely different ends of the spectrum of what you would go there for. Type of thing, but the service there was top notch. It just felt so unique for a Hilton, you know, like 3 stories all looking in on each other, like you see in like Melrose Place on TV, and like the most quintessential California condo complex, but turned into a really nice resort or hotel, however you want to call it. If we're calling airport hotels resorts, that's a resort.
Mark shared a video of that suntan lotion, the machine doing it, and I requested that he get a video of himself getting sprayed, and he didn't do it. So we don't have that to show you guys.
Nobody needs to see
all the big
this
Mark
man
fanboys.
dad bod.
I mean, just put a rash guard on, man. Then then you could
body
do
glide.
you could do the Kevin Garnett anything is possible in the suntan lotion thing. Imagine what that video could have been like. And now
Joe,
they're just looking at our boring faces.
You need to book some people into this place. Imagine, your commission on a $900 a night resort. Baby, bang it.
Yeah, good idea. Thanks for calling me. No, I'm just kidding. I know you booked it on
I don't have that kind of money.
I know you booked it on sir. It's crazy how much some of these hotels are. Like the Four Seasons is like that too. It's just
Yeah.
It's just wild. I mean,
stayed at the
like I should talk since I stay at Disney Resorts, but
the last time we were there in Orlando, we stayed one night at the Waldorf Astoria, night and day. The Waldorf Astoria is complete trash compared to this hotel. Like that's how much better it is. The experience, everything it offers. Do not stay at the Waldorf. A total waste of a cert, in my opinion. This place is where you go.
That's a great quote. The Waldorf Astoria is complete trash compared to this
garbage
hotel.
juice.
Says
Hot
Mark
garbage
Rossman.
juice.
They should put it. Yeah, they should put it on their marketing. So so I get to finally finish the saga of my Delta Vacations redemption from 2019, and that was this Universal Orlando trip, a $3,500 trip that included 5 nights on property at the Royal Pacific, which is one of their signature hotels, and then also 5 days of park tickets for my family, and that was all included, paid for with Delta points. Now, I just want to caveat something. People watching this on YouTube, if you see any vertical video in this, they were all taken with my Ray-Ban Meta Smartglasses, and I did that through a lot of this so that people could kind of see. No, because I want people to see how incredible this is for family travel.
Excuse us.
Stop.
Excuse us.
Stop.
You can't use your gimbal and your sexy specs.
Sorry for wanting to give people information and give them useful things for their travel.
How come this isn't doing anything right now? Sorry for the audio people. I'm tapping my glasses.
You Connor Stallions the whole place. You're like, oh, let's get these plays.
Nice.
No, but it's super cool when you're taking family trips. I talked when we did Portugal. I really enjoyed it. You get a different perspective than if you're filming on your phone. You get more of a POV, and I like it when I'm with the family, watching my daughter do things. When I'm watching it back, it's really cool. I don't tend to film in vertical normally, but that's sort of how it is. You can also take it on rides, and so there's some unique sort of perspectives that I can share through this, but I know on YouTube people will complain that it's vertical, so I just wanted to caveat that. Also, so people could kind of see how good the quality is so that they can determine if it's something for them. I really do love these glasses.
Here's our affiliate link for
hashtag
sunglasses.
Oh, yeah, I'll put
hashtag not
affiliate link
sponsored.
down below.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hey, we got an Amazon affiliate.
Oh, you can buy them from Amazon? Nice.
Yeah.
Just a little aside, when you talked to me about the Ray-Ban glasses a few months ago, I was thinking about it. I definitely can feel like there are uses for it, like at your kids' concerts, or just even when you're just hanging out with your kids. As my kids get older, Mark, your son is now as old
42.
as we used to joke. Yeah, he's just a man child, right? And as my kids are getting older, I'm just like, oh, I want to experience this, but like, you don't want to bust out your phone. And so even though I still haven't made the jump, I feel like a few years ago when these glasses started coming out, these smart glasses or whatever, I didn't really see the appeal. And I don't know if I see the appeal. Like, I don't know if I need the internet in my eyeball or whatever, Minority Report style right now.
Yeah, great movie.
Dragon Ball style. But, what I would really love to do is just, tap my glasses or do whatever you need to do. And then just kind of be in the moment and just forget that it's on, and then maybe see that video later when my kids are all grown and stuff like that. So, and then of course, as a theme park person, ride video, all that kind of stuff. But just as a life person, I do think it's much more appealing than it used to be to me.
Yeah, it's really effortless, and you learn that your head is sort of controlling things. It's when you first start using them, you're turning your head too much, or you're making more sudden movements, which you wouldn't normally do with a camera, and you sort of adjust to that. But it just allows you to be in the moment, like you say, oh, I see something, boom. And it's just so much more effortless. It's great for amusement parks.
The creeper in the back, slowly moving his head across.
It's funny because you totally could be, because I don't see these glasses around very much, and nobody knows what they are. There is a light on the outside when you're recording, but this I think is going to be more of an issue going forward with people. You totally could be. I mean, I've never, even on rides where you're not allowed to film and stuff like that, I've never had anybody stop me or say I can't have them. They don't know that I'm doing it. So there is all of that. But
what do you get, like 15 minutes of video out of it? Is that about, for a charge?
No, it gets about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how heavily you're using it. I don't use the internet features. It does have like an AI built into it. So like a virtual assistant, and you can play audio through them. It has speakers. So it's really good. In an amusement park, you're never going to hear the audio playing through it. It's too loud. But if you were walking somewhere where you didn't want to have ear pods in, you could just wear the sunglasses. You can hear perfectly. It's great. So I really just use it for the camera. Once in a while, I listen through the speakers, but it does have more features than that. But yeah, super cool. They keep growing on me. I like them. The style is fine. They're Ray-Bans. So if you know what Ray-Ban glasses look like, they look pretty much the same. Just the stalks are a little bit thicker. I want to talk about Royal Pacific, Joe. Royal Pacific and all of Universal's signature hotels are run by Lowe's.
Premier Hotels.
And really, didn't they just change the name to Signature Hotels?
Oh, did they? Then
yeah.
I look stupid.
I don't know. You can
Oh,
look
they
it up.
do.
While
They
That's
do
I'm
have
Joe
talking.
signatures.
at
No, you're right. They're
Emotion or what? Mnation.com.
thanks for nothing. Yeah, it is signature now. It is signature. You're correct.
But they're all run by Lowe's Hotels, and that means that they're actually run by a company who knows how to run hotels, unlike Disney. So just night and day, if you stay at a Universal hotel, you're actually staying at a real hotel with a company that knows hospitality. And I'm sorry, but Disney, this is, when I first said I did not like Disney hotels, I didn't know a lot of other people. Hadn't seen that opinion a lot of other places, but I have since. So I think a lot of people are picking up on that. Of course, there's people that love Disney hotels, but Universal Orlando is a much smaller resort. You have two parks that are main there. You also have a water park, Volcano Bay, and then they're opening up Epic Universe, their third theme park next year in May, which is about a mile away. In fact, it's right behind the Hyatt Regency Orlando on International Drive, if people kind of know where that is. But if you're just talking about the two main theme parks, Royal Pacific, you just take a 10-minute boat or it's a 10-minute walk right to the parks. You have City Walk there, all the dining, shopping, everything. The rooms were pretty decent. They're a little smaller there. So there are a couple other hotels like the Hard Rock and the Portofino Bay that are more expensive. They have bigger rooms. But I found the Royal Pacific was the cheapest of all the options. And the big reason to stay at a signature hotel like this is that it includes express passes for everybody in your party. So for us, this time of year, it was around $400 a night plus tax and stuff. Like I said, the total cost for everything with the 5 nights plus our tickets was $3,500. But we had express passes unlimited, meaning we can go to any ride as much as we want. You're never really worrying about the waits at all. The only ride that's not included is the Hagrid's, the newer Harry Potter ride there that always has really long lines. But even their newest coaster, the Velocicoaster, which is Jurassic Park themed, has that. And I was able, with the express passes and being there, we didn't have to do 12-hour days. We didn't have to feel like we had to do like everything. We could go 6 hours in the park and enjoy what we wanted. We didn't have to think about whether this had a huge line or that had a huge line. Now, if like a line goes up to 2 hours for a ride, the express might be 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So it's not always zero, but many times it is. And it just makes you not have to worry about planning, having to worry about crowd levels. You can just go and enjoy it. And this is really the way to go. You can book these hotels through almost any points program. And either the Hard Rock, the Portofino, or Royal Pacific. Those are the three that include express passes. So I think this isn't a new deal. People have done this, but this is incredible. I really enjoyed myself much more than I even expected to.
Yeah, he's just jealous of my VIP experience, Joe. So he had to do the.
It's not as good a deal. It's not as good a deal in Orlando as it is in California. In California, it's like barely more than, not barely more, but it's close to the express pass price and all the Super Mario access that you get. It's really good.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we talked about it somewhere, but
now
it was a good deal.
Those hotels show up on, or they used to, I haven't checked in a while, Amex FHR. If you want to use your platinum credit, it shows it. So there's $200 off plus breakfast, $100 food and beverage credit. If it's still showing up, have you checked recently, or do you know, Joe?
I think I had a client a month or two ago say that they did it through FHR, but I can check while we're talking. I think while we're talking about the hotel itself, I don't know if you plan to talk about Universal. We probably will. But another hack that people do is, even if they're staying off-site or at a Signature Collection hotel that gives you Express Pass, they will book one night at a Signature hotel. You get Express Pass. That Express Pass benefit is both for your check-in and check-out day. So you get 2 days of Express Pass, and usually one night is cheaper than buying 2 days total. Sometimes it's cheaper than buying even one day, and then that's what people will do. The way it works is you just get your key card, and that key card doubles, right? Your key card doubles as the Express Pass. That's what you show or tap to get into the Express Pass lane.
Yeah, exactly right. So you go to the hotel. So in our case, we flew a red eye on Frontier. I'm not going to talk about Frontier too much. Just had 2 more good flights on Frontier, on time, everything. I did talk briefly with Mark. Yeah, I should have. I talked briefly with Mark how I was dreading because I had the 29-inch pitch. I didn't have the extra legroom on the way out. I survived that. I had built that up in my head. It wasn't as bad as I had imagined, and everything good with Frontier. But anyway, we arrive off the red eye, go right to the hotel, and just check in. Now, obviously, the room wasn't ready, but they gave us the key cards, which also are the express passes, which were separate from our tickets. So the tickets to get into the park and then the express passes just sort of work. So super
So
simple process. Everybody's doing that. You store your luggage. They expect it. So many people.
they
do
just
that.
give you like extra key cards to your hotel then? Like each of you get a hotel key card, or you just have one that you scan for everybody?
Yep, everybody gets their own key card, so that's their room key plus it scans as the express pass. Super simple, and like Joe said, on day of check-in, on day of checkout. One of the cool things here is I was able, because of the Delta vacations, to put the tickets in the package. And so what I did was got the most expensive tickets I could, and then I turned around, got to the park, and I was able to upgrade the tickets for $25 total or $25 each total. So with tax, it was like $80 for annual passes. So now we have annual passes, so we can make another trip for just $80 out of our pocket total. And then the plan will be next year to do an FHR or something like that, to do one night and then just get us express passes and go 2 days to the parks. So I think there's a lot to be had here, and I don't know that I would want to do those parks anymore. I've done them each a couple times, but I hadn't ever spent like a significant amount of time at Universal Orlando. I don't know that I would ever want to do it without Express. And Express, goes for up to $150 a day per person, depending on how busy it is. The Royal Pacific, I saw in the summer, goes for $700 to $800 a night. This time of year or in the off season, it's around $400 a night. And, obviously depending on what's going on, and you can have up to 5 people in the room, I believe, with the Express Pass. I mean, it's really an incredible deal. And, it's not cheap, but I feel like the experience they're delivering is great. We could go back and forth about what Universal is and what Disney does better and Universal does better, but everything they've built over the last 5 years has been crazy good quality. Some of the older stuff, some of that video stuff that they did, they put a lot of screens and everything back in the day, doesn't hold up so well, but it's just a joy. And I will say the cast members or the employees there, probably even friendlier than my recent Disney World experiences. Like, they do have a culture of service there. No, I mean,
so bad.
what, did I hate?
Universal's
Disney or
better.
what?
Universal's
It's
better.
not.
How dare
it's
you?
Not, it's not quite. Yeah,
I think it's team members, Shawn. I think I got this one right. I think it's team members.
Yeah. I call everybody cast members. It's so weird. But yes, they just really delivered. I mean, you run into somebody with an attitude once in a while everywhere, but for the most part, I mean, not just like friendly, but going out of their way to help you and what you would expect in this. And yeah, it was just an enjoyable 5 days on property there. We also did SeaWorld because we have our pass for that, and that was fun. But yeah, I think that this is a way to go, and it's certainly like significantly less stressful than trying to do Disney World. And for us, that was a good change. My daughter just hit 54 inches. She can ride all the rides now. And so we're kind of going into that phase as Universal opens their new park, and I'm excited about it. But I think people should really open their eyes to this. If they haven't already, FHR, get the express passes, get that VIP experience, and find a way to use points to pay for it.
Yeah,
I'll never have the experience of having tall kids. But FHR, yeah, it's still there. I'm looking at Portofino Bay right now, 4 p.m. checkout, the credit, all that stuff. So yeah, FHR is a great way to do Universal. You can always buy your tickets separately, but that'll get you the express pass, so you don't have to pay for it or anything.
Like my favorite low key place in Orlando. Shawn knows this, but Joe, have you ever been to the Fun Spot?
I'm not gonna go there.
There's 2 fun spots. There's 2 fun spots.
No,
even the sign looks bad. I know you love it, but
no, I mean, I think it's
great.
just like a good change. Like if you're going somewhere just to like hang out in Orlando, or you want to take advantage of the pools, something like, maybe don't tell people at the Conrad that you're going to the Fun Spot for the day. But if you wanted to do that, I think it's unique. It's like a fair, just there all the time. You can go in, you can just buy tickets for your kids to ride rides, and you can walk around. Like, they don't make you, pay anything to get into the park. You can eat, you can walk around, you can do all that stuff, and your kids can do the rides. It's on Groupon all the time. We had a really good time when we were there. It was cheap. It was fun. Something else to look at it when you're in Orlando.
And there are 2 fun spots. There's one in Kissimmee near Disney, and then there's the one that's right near Universal, almost right outside of Universal. And if you think about that area now, you have the 2 Universal parks. You have Volcano Bay, you have SeaWorld right there, you have Epic Universe opening, you have Fun Spot. So you do have so much to do in that area that rivals Disney, even if it's all a little disjointed. So I thought that was great. One last thing on Royal Pacific. This is sort of Universal's version of the Polynesian, I guess. It's their Hawaiian resort, so it's Hawaiian themed. They really nailed the architecture. It does feel like a Hawaiian resort. Like, if you look closely, there's some areas that are different, but beautiful gardens and stuff. It doesn't have the smell or, the vibe, I guess, of a Hawaiian resort. Was not expecting that. It was just nicer than I thought. And I really enjoyed just certain times getting downtime, sitting in the gardens and getting that break, especially when you're in parks all day and stuff like that. They also, one last kind of thing, I'm sure you tell your clients this, Joe, the Coke Freestyle program at Universal is amazing. You buy a bottle for the first day, it's $18, and then you can refill it for $12 a day, and you get all the Coke Freestyle stuff. You can refill every 10 minutes. The fact that they have
For
the
12,
freestyle
you have to pay
machines-
$12 after to refill.
No, so $18 the first day includes the
Okay.
refills for the whole day, and then if
Ah,
you want to
gotcha.
use that same cup in future days,
You-
you pay $12 a day.
You made it seem like each refill is $12. I'm
Sorry.
like, that's not
No,
a good
so
deal
you-
at all.
So basically, you're paying $12.
Look, I
and you
know
can refill
inflation
that
has been a
sucker all
problem,
day.
but Shawn, jeez.
Well, and so there's two kinds of people in the world. There's, and I saw this, I was paying close attention. There's the families that buy a cup for everybody in the family, and then there's the families that share the cup.
What family are you, Shawn?
Oh, we share the cup. We had a bottle, and they say no sharing. I would say it was about 60% I saw with families sharing the cup, and 40% they had their own or whatever. So I don't know. We're fine with it, but whatever it is, you're paying $12 after the first day. You're getting unlimited refills all day, and it's not just soda because it's freestyle machines. So you have the wide array, and even if you don't want to buy anything, bring your own bottle because those freestyle machines have free ice water everywhere. So you don't have to wait in a line to get ice water. You can just walk up to any freestyle machine, fill up your bottle. So it just makes it super easy and simple. And yeah, I mean, Universal has their stuff together. They really are a competitor to Disney. There's a lot of things that they do a little differently for Disney fans to kind of be interested in, and a lot of things, you might not like. I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. And as people know, I'm not so up on Disney World these days because of all the nonsense and the planning and how exhausting it has become to go to. And quite simply because I do have the ability to go to the international parks, and they're better in every single one.
That's why you hire Joe to do this, because he'll get you those reservations and have you eat a hot dog in the rain because there's no roof at the place he tells you to go to.
I will say I hear from people all the time.
forgot
like in the
about
Diamond
that.
Group. I'm not going to give Joe.
I forgot about that. For those of you who don't know, that's Mark's son complaining about me.
Yeah, Joe knows nothing. That's what
But anyway,
he said.
Since you said that, Mark, everybody says how great a job Joe does. Like I hear about
yeah,
this,
he
like
does.
just
Except
like,
for
on the
Mark's
side.
son.
Yeah,
There's always one.
I will say Joe didn't have it. I just said what are some places. He said this is a good place for like chicken fingers and stuff like that. But the rain was coming and everybody knew it, so the inside was completely full, and we're just sitting out there getting drenched. It was fine. But yeah, it was just funny.
Just
I
watered
said,
down
Joe,
the ketchup on the hot
Joe
dog.
said, and my son just like deadpans. Joe doesn't know much. It seems like.
Joe don't know. Joe don't know. Like the boat, the old.
And he's
Boat
not
Jackson
even. He's
commercials.
usually not very funny, and we all just died for like a good 5 minutes.
So I think we covered everything. I mean, I think people should go do this. Go try it for yourself, especially if you're Disney people and experience what they have. There is, there's some attractions there that just don't measure up to Disney. I'll just say that, that they built during their screen area where they thought
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, so bad. Oh, Jimmy Fallon. What the hell were they thinking with that? And that only opened like, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. But anyway, like the new stuff, the Velocicoaster, one of my favorite coasters in all of America. I mean, it is, everybody is coming off that coaster, like not just like smiling, but clapping and laughing. It's so well done. Hagrid's motorbike, the amount of theming that they put into that, that is beyond anything Disney has done, maybe with the exception of like Galaxy's Edge recently. So just the level of everything there recently is high quality. Epic Universe opening. That was why I was excited to kind of get the pass and be able to do it, and all for free. So life is good.
Yeah, or
One
you can
last-
just go to Orlando to hang out at the Conrad. I mean, that's a good option too.
I mean, it is nice to relax. One last thing for those of you who are excited about Epic Universe at Universal, just one thing that's going to trip people up is that the new Signature Collection hotel, which is Helios, will not have the Express Pass benefit. The prices have been pretty reasonable, but just so you know, it's Royal Pacific, Portofino, and Hard Rock. They have the Express Pass. It's like grandfathered in, an old deal, but no, they won't have it for Helios. So even though it looks like an amazing resort,
Sapphire Falls is also part of the Signature Collection, and for some reason doesn't include it either. So it is confusing. It's just basically the three, like you said. So those are the three you want to stick with, because I don't find the other ones cheap enough to offset not getting the Express Pass and the experience difference. We were there during the end of Halloween Horror Nights, which kind of made the parks busy during certain times, and without that, it would have been pretty miserable. We would have been in long lines, and it just made a world of difference.
All right, two questions for you guys before we head out. First one, when does the new park open? And that has the Super Nintendo and all that stuff, right? That it's supposed to be. And then second question, one place I've not heard anything about is that Star Wars hotel. Is that still like super expensively priced? And are people even going to it anymore?
Wait, Joe, I want to see if I got this right on the opening date, May 25th.
That was close. How do you know I just looked it up, by the way?
Well,
How do you know I looked it up while Mark was
I've been doing
talking?
this with you for too long. Is it May 22nd? It's May 22nd.
You got it.
Then.
It's May 22nd.
Okay. I knew it was either the 25th or the 22nd of 2025.
And Galactic Star Cruiser is closed. You're beclowning yourself, right?
Oh,
What kind of theme park fan are you, Mark? How do you not know that? It was huge news
a
last.
4-hour video about the failure of the Star Cruiser. Did you see that, Joe? There was like a 4-hour.
Yeah, of course.
Jenny
Nicholson,
retrospective.
yes.
It got like 10 million views or something about like why the Star Cruiser failed.
This is how we know we all live in our own bubble. It just blows my mind that Mark had no idea that it closed.
That's why I haven't seen anything about it.
Yes, that's why you haven't heard anything about it for the last year. It just happens to be closed. Hey, you know what we should do sometime?
Money.
You know what we should do sometime in this theoretical time when we'll all be in Vegas at the same time that we've been talking about for like 7 years now? We should do Omega Mart, which is the it's
We've
like
done it.
What are we gonna do with Joe?
Get
Well,
out
you know,
here.
Mark did it, but he just disappeared and hang out at the bar the whole time. So
Yeah, true.
That
Very
doesn't
cool bar
count.
there. Very cool bar.
We were running a meetup. Mark just disappeared, and I was all stressed out. And Mark had it right though. He had the right strategy. No, it's a cool place though.
They made like these cool balloons that like blew up in your drink and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'll go back. It's all good. So yeah, there's your epic Orlando episode. Now you're experts too. And I guess if they want to book a Orlando vacation, if you're not using points, Joe really knows everything. It's crazy how much Joe knows about Orlando. We obviously can't touch on any of that, but we're glad to have him on this show. And Joe, where can people find you when they're not listening to this fine podcast or watching it on YouTube?
At As Joe Flies, all over social media. And yeah, if you are looking to book a trip with cash, Joseph Cheung at travelmation.net. That's with an M, as in Mickey.
Yeah.
How about you, Mark?
You can find me on Twitter at Detroit Mark, or read any of my articles on travelonpoints.com. Of course, watch the YouTube videos with me and Shawn. How about you, Shawn?
At Miles to Memories all over social media, milestomemories.com for all of my post-podcast videos, and MTM Vegas, yeah, right on YouTube with Mark, talking about Vegas twice a week. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Talk to you next time.
So is it like a Spirit Halloween now at the Star Wars Hotel?
That would be great.
How come no one has done that? Mark, do that image so that Shawn can put it on the
there you go.
the episode.
I do feel like that should have been a meme that we would have seen already. So
yeah,
we didn't.
We would all know then that it was close.